Hey guys, bit of a different video today. I had a chat with / interviewed jdizzle, who is the best Super Smash Bros. Ultimate player in Australia, who plays Young Link, recently was over in Japan, defeated incredible players such as Ken and Gackt. I did a video on it earlier, which a lot of you have probably seen, but let me know if you enjoy this kind of video and want to see more with other top players. Obviously, it was my first time doing it, so any advice would be amazing. And yeah, I'll just let you enjoy.
Jump him in! Here
Here we are with jdizzle, the best player in all of Australia, pretty much from the beginning of Smash Ultimate, it feels like. Is that what it felt like for you, like, as soon as Smash Ultimate started? Or when did you feel like you became, like, the best in Australia, like, undisputed?
So that felt like it happened August 2019. So I won a major in July, Big Win Champs too. And I was like, okay, I'm starting to look pretty good here. And then I won Sunny Side Up. And so I basically went back-to-back majors like July, August. And then from that point onwards, I was like, all right, now I feel like I'm the best.
Yeah, okay. So that's still almost like a year into the game though, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, well, 9 months really. So yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because you in Smash Bros. For Wii U, you were still like competing, but you never considered like the number one. That was always Extra, who's from Melbourne as well.
It was always Ghost Extra, yeah.
Ghost Extra, yeah. But then Smash Ultimate happened, and then it was like a big scramble, I feel like, for a while. Because Extra didn't win the first. It was Ben Gold and his K. Rool one damn.
Well, the first major was Phantom, which Luco won in 2019. Yeah. So that was the very first one.
Yeah.
And then we had BAM, which Ben Gold won. As I'm sure most of you know that very classic. Aussie history there.
Yeah.
And then we had Big Win Champs and Sunny Side Up, which I won both of them. So then from that point onwards, it looked pretty good from me.
And then it's kind of been clean sailing, it feels like, anyway. Like, there's never been someone who's like, okay, this person's definitely better than jdizzle now. But I wanted to ask, is like, you switched anything up? Because, like, obviously in Wii U, you're still trying to be good. But then when Ultimate happened, there was a scramble, and then bam, jdizzle's now the best. So I wanted to ask if you had, like, any tactics that changed. Did the game just feel better, like, for you? Or, yeah, what happened in between games?
So I think it was... The start of it was transitioning from Toon Link, because I played only Toon Link in Smash 4.
Yeah.
And I played Young Link in Ultimate. And at the start of Ultimate, I was playing Young Link like Toon Link in Smash 4. So I was using a lot of bombs and up tilts. Like, I wasn't really abusing Young Link.
The speed and everything?
Yeah, like the buttons, fire arrow, all that. I was just kind of playing like Toon Link, like bomb fair sort of thing, which is like just isn't how the character's supposed to be played.
Yeah.
And then I realized how to abuse the character, and I realized how to abuse the engine more. And so then all of a sudden, like, the game clicked for me, Young Link clicked for me, and then all the bad like Toon Link habits I had, I started learning how to play Young Link, learning how to abuse the game, and then all of a sudden it just like clicked for me. And once I figured that out, then it was game over for everyone.
So you feel like the character really helped. What made you not pick Toon Link straight away in Ultimate?
So back on the night it came out, it's 3 a.m. Smash Ultimate release night, I like unlocked Young Link.
You decided Young Link that early?
I just within like 2 or 3 hours after the game coming out, I played like one game of Young Link, and I just felt like he was my spirit animal. Like, it was just like pressing the A button like 3 times in the air. I was like, this is amazing. And I'd heard like all this like pre-chatter within like a month or two before the game came out, where people like play testing it, like they got to go to like Nintendo demos.
Yeah.
And I heard people say like, oh, Young Link's like top tier, like fire arrow down through up there. Yeah. And I was like, I kind of had that play in my head a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I played one game of Young Link, and I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. And I played one game of Toon Link, and I was like, oh, they got rid of F smash.
Yeah.
Up smash is weaker, back throw is weaker. Like, nah, I'm done with this character. Young Link is my animal. So I just so ever since then I was like, bang. 3 hours after the game came out, he was my buddy.
And that's been your main ever since. That's insane, because like someone like me, it's been like the opposite, where I've probably been, it's just Smash Ultimate through like 5 different mains, and I'm like cycling through. Recently I've been like, okay, Game & Watch, I found Game & Watch, that's my spirit animal, I'm sticking with him. But that's 4 years into the game, you were 4 hours in.
Yeah, people. That's literally we're like nearly over 4 years into the game, and people kind of decided their main. Some people were switching like 1 or 2 years after the game. Yeah, give me like 2 or 3 a.m. on like Friday night or whatever it was, and
Yeah.
bang, I found out Young Link is the true one for me.
That's crazy. Do you think that helped you a lot as well? Just sticking with a character and then just being like, I support this character all the way and I'm going to make him work rather than thinking of like what else could work?
1,000,000,000%. I think
Yeah.
learning how to like optimize your character, having faith in your character, it can help you overcome all like obstacles for that character. Or like usually someone picks up two characters and they come across like a tricky character or something, they might have trouble like figuring out because they keep playing forth with each character and it just like doesn't work out. But
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
me
That's
sticking with
relatable.
one, there's a boulder. I'm just gonna find a way to break it down, and eventually, like I do, and I felt like I figured that out with Young Link. So yeah, he's been my true one.
That's so cool. Yeah, I feel like that's shown just that's how Ultimate seems to work. Because if you look at the top like 50 players just in the world, there's probably like 40 different characters in that. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like there's very rarely, there's like maybe 3 or 4 Robs, some Steves, but like, it's
Common
like,
characters.
yeah, but you know, like
Yeah.
even the top 10, it's just like they're all playing a different main. It's a very different game compared to maybe like Melee and Brawl, where I felt like,
Or even Smash 4
even Smash 4 as well, it's
at
just
the end
like,
of it. Yeah.
this game has really rewarded just sticking to your guns and like going for it, which is pretty
Well,
cool.
That almost just shows how balanced it is. Like there's
I know, right?
bloody 80 something characters now, and yet everyone in the top 10 is generally playing a different character, even though there is like Steve who's the best, but
Yeah.
like every character is different enough and good enough that like you can play your character, and if you're skilled enough you can make it to the top with him, which I think is one of the greatest things about Ultimate.
Yeah, they've done an incredible job, even though people like to hate on like Steve and Kazuya and stuff, but we still haven't really seen just like that character taking over like Bayonetta did in Wii U yet anyway. But
Yes. Yeah.
do you think there's that potential with Steve to kind of ruin the game a bit?
I don't think so. Just because I think Steve is capable of doing it, but I think people are going to stick to their mains. I think Steve plays too different of a game for everyone to like really play him. Like he doesn't play Smash.
Yeah, that's why I think
and
you've seen like a Cola, like a 15-year-old. He's like the best because he's like brand new to it almost.
Exactly. But I think all the people who like are really good at Smash, like MKLeo, for example,
Yeah.
aren't going to find him as fun because they're playing a different game, and playing Smash and playing really well feels really good. It's like dopamine, but like
Yeah.
Steve is different, where I don't think everyone has that acquired taste.
Yeah, you'd have to commit and then just be like, kind of ditch all your stuff you had learned before if you've been playing for a while.
Exactly. Yeah. Forget all that Smash stuff you learned here. Go set up blocks, mine, and off you go. Minecart in disadvantage.
Yeah, speaking of MKLeo, actually, you've had a set versus MKLeo, which did you lose 3-0, was it? Against
I lost 3-0, but it was close.
It was a close 3-0. Did you let
Yeah.
the TOs know? No, but I wanted to ask what did, or if anything, felt different versus MKLeo than you versed, because you versed a lot of top players now. Is there a difference to MKLeo specifically that you felt, or?
I just felt like he was the most refined. So I've played like Spargo, Acola, MKLeo. MKLeo felt like the most well-rounded. He felt like the smartest out of the bunch. I played Spargo, and he was very much just like in your face. Like, he's never been punished for anything Wi-Fi. Like he abuses cloud. Like he does it super, super well.
And puts the pressure on.
And it works. Oh, he puts the pressure on. Yeah. Whereas MKLeo, amazing positioning. He knows his moments of when to go in. He's really well-rounded overall, which is why he can, play Joker, Byleth, do really well with all his characters, because his fundamentals are just insane, as you would expect of someone who's the best in the world. So it was actually really fun playing him because, it pushed me into like not making mistakes and, being careful about what I'm doing, because as soon as I got silly or did something stupid, like I got punished for it.
So it feels like, does he feel like he's always waiting for the right moment and he knows like when to attack?
Yeah. Literally that. He knows when to back off or when to go in. When's his moment to strike and when he's in advantage, when he can like really push it. So I had played his Byleth, and he realized that he should up B Young Link off stage. So
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
if you look at game 2, don't look at me trying to recover because I just got just literally spiked.
That was so sad. Yeah, I remember watching that. Yeah, I guess it's like the whole idea of risk reward, which I feel like becomes very apparent. Like the higher and higher up you go, it's just like finding micro moments where the risk reward is now in your favor. Is that something that you ever think about when you're playing?
Yeah, well, it's like in Australia, for example. I don't think people really care about risk reward. They will just like do their thing when they want, or if they're feeling themselves, bang, the high risk, high reward options coming out, and all I have to do is just like wait for it, and then like bang, I like punish them for it. So that's how like there's like the top player privilege, especially in Australia, because like people will just go for that like risk, like the risk reward is just like not in their favor, but they'll do it anyway because if they hit it, they win, and so then like you just like punish them for it. Whereas MKLeo is not someone to just run up and Byleth down smash you because he thinks he's got a roll read. Like he's like conditioned you to do something, and then when he's got you in a spot he wants, then he will take like a little bit of a risk. And if he won't get too hard punished for it, but like his reward will be like insane. So it's like Byleth F smash on ledge. Like if he's conditioned you to ledge, and if he's like conditioned you to like ledge jump or something, he can like Byleth F smash you where the risk reward is like not that high for him, but like if he hits you, you're like dead at like 30.
Interesting. So it's like kind of more subtle until he has a really good moment compared to people being like just having faith in their reads, even though you're rolling the dice. Like no matter how good you think your reads are, you're still rolling the dice in a way. Yeah. Okay.
And even when like MKLeo like rolls the dice, it's still like in his favor a little bit because like he won't do like a really unsafe option that could get him punished really hard at like a bad time. Like it's always like usually calculated. If he goes for it, he's not getting punished too hard for it. So yeah, he's always putting like the risk reward like in his favor.
Yeah. Okay. That's very interesting. I wanted to ask how your mindset has changed in terms of, you said when you first went over to Japan and stuff like that, when in messages, you were saying your autopilot kind of kicked in and probably screwed up your risk reward a bit down the stretch when you're a bit nervous or something like that, and you'd be a bit too like aggressive and stuff. And so I just wanted to hear you talk about how you kind of changed that, and you said you'd try and play more defensive and probably change the risk reward as well.
Yeah. So I was getting to those last set situations and I was like freaking out and just like trying to force like the win. Like I was just like, I want to win. I want to get this over and done with.
Were you going for big reads and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I'll just like maybe not necessarily go for big reads, but I'd press too many buttons.
Okay.
And eventually these people will just like call it out, or just like I'd eventually leave like an opening in my play, and these like Japanese players will just like take advantage of it. So I just realized that like slow it down, like don't press as many buttons because if I've got the lead, they should have to come to me, and they will be the one more likely to make a mistake. Like if I play patient and I'm forcing them to like earn their win and come to me, they're more likely to make a mistake, and then I can capitalize on that. So like I'll apply like a bit of pressure, like maybe shoot like a fire arrow and then like dash around or something.
Yeah.
But before I'd like full on drift in fair or something. But I realized that just like wasn't kind of getting me anywhere. So like I would just sit back, wait, utilize my movement, try bait something out, but not do anything really unsafe or overcommittal. And eventually I found it helped me against like Ken, for example. I literally won. I literally won because of that, because I was just like willing to wait and force him to approach and not, wait for him, not force a kill on him, because otherwise Sonic can just like dash back, spin dash, and get momentum. Like you want to stop the other person from getting momentum. I feel like that's one of the biggest things in like his last hit situations. Like every character in this game has got crazy advantageous states.
Yeah, that's true.
You gotta like hold the opponent from getting momentum. So just like slow it down, wait, and eventually an opportunity to kill the opponent will present itself.
Yeah, that's cool. So really appreciating that at the end of the day, it's a 2-player game, so it's not always about how you can hit them, but like they've got to hit you as well. So if you kind of wait,
avoiding your opponent's kill moves is just as important as like hitting your own. If they can't hit you, well, you can't die.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And that's what
yeah.
people always say versing you is that you are like the hardest person in Australia at least to land a kill on because it's just like you're running away, you're using your arrows. Do you feel like you've always had that patience more in Australia, but maybe like the intensity of going over changed things, or do you think they just kind of exposed a weakness that Australia wasn't?
They exposed the weakness that Australia wasn't.
Okay, yeah.
I think I was getting away with it too much in Australia, but then international, like playing better players, that's when it was like, okay, this isn't necessarily going to work.
Yeah, okay, because
Yeah.
you beat Ken over there, you beat gackt,
Yep.
who's like the best or second best like Nest player in the entire world. Who else did you defeat over there?
Hikaru,
Oh
Roy
yeah,
DK.
me Brawler and DK.
No, Roy and
Oh
DK.
Roy, yeah.
I beat Eam, the Sheik. He just got top 8 at the
Oh,
major.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
last weekend. Yeah, so I beat them. Sunoko. Like Noi. Like these are all kind of like high level Japanese
That's
players.
the
Not
thing,
for like,
right? It's like I feel like people like know the few top players, but it's like the level right under is very close still, right?
oh, yeah. It's like, yeah, I won my first tournament there, and I had to beat like the second and third best Olimar in Japan, Noi and Subotsubu.
Yeah.
And they're all like really strong. I also beat level 1, who's a Toon Link who just got ninth at the
Oh,
major, as well,
wow. Okay.
last weekend. So, yeah, the high level is almost. I mean, it's obviously a little bit weaker than the top level, but it's still like getting high level wins there is still like really hard.
Yeah, and you beat Cack twice, didn't you? Actually, you beat him at Genesis as well. Is that right?
Yes, so I beat him at a monthly in Tokyo on a Sunday, and then I beat him 6 days later at
Damn, you got
Genesis.
his number. You got his
Yeah.
number. You're welcome for the Nest practice, by the way, back in Smash Wii U. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what helped me out there.
I was thinking that. I was like, oh man, you're welcome.
It was very funny after I beat him the first time in Tokyo at the monthly. Apparently, he went home and was like, "Man, can't believe I lost to a bloody Australian." Like,
Oh, really?
I lost to an Australian. Like, God damn it! And then fast forward 1 week, and I've beaten him at the Super Major as well. So I
Oh
wonder
no,
what
he's
he's
gone
like
back
now.
to
Like,
his room. He's like, oh, again.
yeah, he wants to go to Australia and throw a rock at a kangaroo now or something. But yeah, he's yeah, I don't know what he thinks now of getting double eliminated by a bloody Aussie.
Yeah, Australia's coming up. To be fair, that's fair enough because obviously here's his perspective of Australia. Until you've gone over there and made such a huge impact. Before that, Australia didn't really have anything too crazy. Like every time internationals come over, like Neotono came over, kind of rinsed everyone. I feel anyway.
That wasn't particularly good. Nintendo coming over and beating all of us. I wasn't having a good day that day.
That as well, though. As well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We've haven't every time like internationals have come over, like at least in Ultimate's lifespan, we kind of haven't done too well.
Yeah, to get people up to speed who maybe don't know. Every now and then at an Australia major, it seems like we'll bring over like an international. Like we had Dark Wizzy and Neotono. Back in Smash for Wii U, we had like Mr. R and stuff come over. But
we also had Expand Gong where Nakat,
yes.
Cosmos, Mr. R, and Hikaru, or no, who's the Snake? Lucina playing the content creator. I can't remember. It starts with H.
Oh, no.
Hey, it's HAK.
I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I haven't seen him much lately, but he was another one who came. He wasn't like as strong. He like I think got like 17th or something.
Yeah.
Not as high, but yeah, we had like Cosmos, Mr. R, and Nakat come over, and they washed us as well.
Yeah, so it's kind of always been pretty brutal, but yeah, you going over taking out Kent like insane names has been like such a huge, I think, morale boost for all of Australia. Because now Strix is he still currently in Japan?
He is. I think he's got one more tournament, Heroes or something this weekend or today.
Okay, so
and then he comes back. He comes back soon, I think.
Okay, so
within the next week. Yeah. But he's been doing really well himself. He beat Mia, which is amazing.
Which is crazy. I'll just say, so Strix is so. Would you say he's number 2 in Melbourne, or like Australia? Where would you say Strix is in
He's
Australia?
number 2 in Australia. Number 2.
Yeah. And so he went over to Japan just like literally last week, beat Mia, who is probably now the best Mr. Game Watch in the entire world, to be honest, like having better results than Meister, which is pretty crazy. So it seems like Australia is like, climbing up the impossible hill it seemed like when I first started playing.
It helps when your roommate plays Game & Watch.
No, we don't tell anyone about that. No. Australia's crazy. He's never played that matchup in his life.
I'd bloody hope if my roommate was a top alt player that I would be able to beat the best in the world as well. So it's good that Strix can win that.
Yeah, Strix does live with Extra, who's a Mr. Game & Watch main, and it was the best player in Wii U and is still extremely good in Smash Ultimate. So that would have helped him in defeating Mia, but no one else talk about that. We're just crazy. No. How far do you think Australia is off our top players being able to consistently beat top 50 players?
I don't think we're that far off now. I think the gap is like getting smaller over time, and I think now it's the smallest it's ever been.
Yeah.
You compare it to Smash 4 when it was absolutely massive, but now it
brutal.
really feels like...
I did a video the other day where I showed Mr. R coming over and destroying everyone in a crew battle, like taking out all of Australia by himself pretty much.
That was grim.
And now you are like just straight up beating Ken, which is awesome.
Yeah, so I think the gap is like smaller now. I still think that like the Smash 4 veterans have a much better chance of doing better internationally than the old new kids, because one of the things that's carrying Strix and I internationally is our experience. Like we've been playing for like,
you mean?
Oh, just within the game. There's 80 plus characters. Mentally as well, like strategically, but like actual like how to play brackets. But you're coming like overseas, you can play 80 different characters, all these different play styles. Like you're gonna know how to deal with someone campy, aggressive, a mix of both. Like you can go back on your past experience and like help you in the moment there, which I don't think these old kids have as much.
Okay.
But with the delay mod now, I generally think this will close the gap between our states.
Yeah.
Because you look at Australia, we are a big ass country. Like we're like the size of like America in terms of like actual like land size.
But nowhere near the population.
Nowhere near the population. So we're all spread out. So it's always been really hard for us to grind with each other's like states top players.
Yeah.
But now with the delay mod, it's like genuinely like amazing that like I can play with someone from like Sydney or Canberra on like a 2-frame delay instead of like 7 or 8, which is usually. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I was playing like with Kanaji last night, and we were playing with 2-frame delay, like no issues, and it generally felt like super close to offline.
That's so good. Yeah, recently a mod has come out that you can change it. So I don't know how exactly the modders have figured out how to make it so much better than freaking what Nintendo have done. But it's like, do you know?
I think Nintendo added 6 frames of delay, like they coded 6 frames of delay into the online.
Awesome.
To like I'm not, as I say, I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I think they did. Because I think I guess maybe the logic was trying to make connections more consistent.
That makes sense.
But the modders have just gone in, looked at the code, and like, okay, just change like one number, and bang, you can now set like what frame you. So they just changed a few numbers, and they just removed all that lag, like Nintendo or like the Smash dev team added.
Put in.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's what
I've played a few games of it, and it does feel so much. At first, I couldn't tell. But then, because I went from offline to the mod, and I was like, okay, is this much better? And then I went back to Elite Smash, and I was like, oh, now I can't play this. This is ruined for me now.
I came back from like America. I booted up Elite Smash, and I was like, oh my god, I can't even play this game. Like, I'm losing to some Elite Smash Ike. Like, am I like terrible? And then I played like one game of the the delay mod, and I was like, oh my god,
I'm back in it.
I love you.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. That's always been a massive struggle for Australia, like you said. It's just like, it's not only that we don't have many people in the first place, so we don't have a huge population pool to like pull from of total Smash Ultimate players to get good. We don't have anyone who's been playing since Melee and have passed down like knowledge and stuff. And we're all spread out everywhere. So I feel like all those things have been working against Australia for so long. But now all those things, now since people have, I feel like the veterans now are kind of from Smash Wii U. I feel like there were never really like hardcore brawl players that converted to Wii U and passed down a bunch of knowledge. At least that's what it felt like in Western Australia.
So that was like the kind of the problem with us in Smash 4 and why we were so far behind is all of our brawl vets just like disappeared in Smash 4. Like as we like transitioned, none of the top brawl players stuck around and actually helped us and like grew us. So that's why we had to like basically start over again.
But in America and stuff, a lot of top Smash Wii U players also played, like Mr. R, he played Brawl and was a top player in Brawl, and like a lot of them have been playing since Brawl.
Yeah, you look at like the older Smash Ultimate top players.
Yeah.
They probably played Brawl, like Larry Lur and all that. He was top in Smash 4.
Even
like,
MKLeo played Brawl. Did you know that?
Yeah, I actually did, but he was like so young.
Yeah, but he won a tournament at 8 years old. That's crazy.
That's hilarious.
Brawl. So he's even though he's young, he's a Brawl vet. It's just messed up.
That's like hard to believe, right? But like, yeah, Americans have like Brawl vets in like Smash 4, and we never had that in Australia. So basically, we've just like had to start over again. Which is why I think alt kids, we're lucky in alt that our Smash 4 vets have all stuck around, and then we can like help the ultimate new kids. And then, with the delay mod as well, that's going to help us even more. So yeah, I genuinely think this will be like our chance, like, close the gap.
Yeah, what's the saying? You realize stand on the shoulders of giants. So it's like, I feel like we actually have giants to stand on now, and now like it's actually helped.
Literally, it's like we had to like feed ourselves and learn how to like get good, but now we're like nourishing the new kids. We are the giants.
Exactly. So we got to keep it going. I think that's gonna really help Australia kind of catch up to everyone, because I feel like even since Wii U, the drive has been there. It feels like anyway, maybe not the actual practice and the gameplay, probably because it's hard to do, but people have wanted to get good, like
I agree.
Ages. Yeah.
I think in my scene in particular, Victoria, Melbourne, we're pretty lucky because we've had driven individuals, and I guess that results when you look at the OzPR. Like if you look at like the top 10, like 7 are Victorians out of the 10, and out of the top 7, 6 of us are Victorians. So it really shows that like we're driven and we've been able to work off each other, and that's kind of what's made us like so strong, is that all the top players in most of the top players in one city all helping each other out, driven. That's what's pushed us to this next level.
Melbourne's always been the biggest scene in Australia, right? Ever since Smash Wii U. That's what it's felt like for me anyway, I feel.
Sydney was up there for a little bit in Smash Wii U.
Okay.
And then they were there a little bit at the start of Ultimate, but then they dropped off pretty quickly, and ever since, we've just been the biggest.
Taking over, Melbourne's always been the ones to like, have a bunch of top players. But I haven't kept up to date as much with it. In Smash Wii U, I was in Melbourne for like a month because I was like, Melbourne's the biggest scene, I will go there. But then I'm back to WA. WA is even more isolated than everything else.
And then during COVID, you couldn't like leave your state for like 2 years or something. So like you were even like more isolated. We're having like mini majors or something. You guys were still stuck at home.
So we're like even isolated in the isolation already. But I think with the latency mod, it's like even WA is coming up now, which is pretty cool.
Oh, it's exciting.
Yeah. What do you think Australia, and I guess this could apply to other countries at lower level players, what do you think Australians as a whole need to maybe do different about how they practice, how they look at the game? What are the main things you think maybe people are doing that like someone like yourself, some people aren't doing that someone like yourself is doing? There's a big question, but
well, so I mean, there's a lot to unpack on it because like, everyone's different. I think people need to practice with intent, and they really need to break down their play style and see what is working and what isn't. Because I think at least in Victoria, the players are kind of able to see what works at top level by seeing how like Strix and I go overseas. Like they can like see what's working for us and what's not. I think with most people in Australia, they just like overcommit and do like a high risk, high reward option. So
Yeah.
I'd be thinking about that specifically and just like practicing how to play safer,
A bit more measured.
how to utilize their movement, and most importantly, how to control their character because Australians are pretty bad at controlling their character.
Do you just mean like in general, like having good movement, good spacing and stuff? Is that what you mean?
Spacing, good, like good movement, yeah, kind of, but that's like, I mean, that's like more general player stuff.
Yeah.
I more mean like the character specific stuff, like combos. So like,
Oh,
for
okay.
example, I'll go to like America or like Japan, or just like a mid-level Luigi. Bro, if I get grabbed at zero, I'm just
They
like,
got it down.
I'm like dead. Yeah. I've got it. I'm like dead.
Oh,
Whereas
okay.
their neutral is like kind of bad. So I get away with just like getting zero to death. But like
Yeah,
I
okay.
can't I can't play like an Australian here, and I'm just like not scared of like getting zero to death
They haven't
by
got their
like
combos
Luigi.
down. They haven't got.
N- nah. And they
Mm.
like, down throw up B, they'll miss it like most of the time.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
these sort of things, whereas like their neutral is like maybe pretty good, but like in a game like this, if someone has a good advantage state, it's really scary to play against them because you could just die at any second.
Yeah, I think characters like Steve and Casio have like expanded that even more with the characters who could just like, I'll win eventually and I'll get you, and you're in big trouble now.
Yeah, and you see that with like Kazuya, like Kazuya Man's example. Like I'm not scared of getting zero to death by Kazuya here, even like
Mm.
high level Kazuyas, because no one can just like control their character well enough. Um,
And it
so I
gets rid
think
of that major advantage. So
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So like I think Australians really need to like practice, go in training mode, and if you got the delay mod, you can get the training mod pack. So
Yep.
I would highly recommend that. So I think Australians just like really need to grind, play with each other, like everyone's different states. Just play as many different kind of people as you can, different play styles, get as much experience as possible. And yeah, just really grind out the game because it just doesn't feel like some people would do it enough, and that's where like the
Yeah.
lack of
And with
character
your
control
specific
comes in.
character as well, like you were saying, how you've stuck with Young Link from the start. Have you ever done like the mod pack and stuff, or just training mode in general? Was it for you to kind of get control of Young Link?
Yeah, I've had the training mod pack basically ever since it came out.
Oh,
So
nice.
so I've had I've had my modded Switch for like nearly 2 years now. It's been quite a while.
Yeah, okay.
Um, and yeah, the training mod pack. It helps find out the kinks in your gameplay and character. You can really fine tune your weaknesses. What specific combos you're dropping. Whatnot. So I think something like that is like what will help, Australians, so just people in general control their character better because you can, set them to DI whatever way you want, mash air dodge, like anything like this. So, you can you can really practice any combos.
Yeah, okay, that's very interesting. I feel like that's very about game specific stuff. I wanted to wonder if have you done anything maybe more on the mental side of things that you've developed over time since maybe back in Smash Wii U days that you think maybe you're a bit better with? Like you said, you started implementing how to be more like defensive because maybe you were in the moment of being a bit too aggressive. But have you grown mentally, you think, as
Oh,
well at the game?
1,000,000,000%.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
I think mental or is just as important as like physical.
Yeah. Okay.
Someone who can compete under pressure or like in a tough moment, will be just as strong as someone who's a little bit better than them, but maybe more fragile mentally.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, so that was, I guess, actually one of the biggest things for me. As getting to the top, is that I started when I was like 16 Smash 4, and I was
Hmm.
like, yeah, freaking out, getting nervous,
Dude,
like
that's the thing.
panicking.
If you got, because there's probably a lot of people watching this who have never been to a Smash Bros tournament in their life, but it seems silly. But me as well. Like my first tournament, you're the same. Like you're shaking. Like why is
Oh,
this happening? It's like playing a
I,
video game. It's,
I, I could barely do anything in my first few
yeah,
tournaments.
I
I
don't know
was like,
why.
yeah, I was just like, I literally only pressed B button. Like I played Toon League, I'd run away through projectile,
Yeah,
scared
yeah.
as shit to do
Yeah,
anything.
yeah, yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, you freak out.
I don't know why. It seems stupid from the outside perspective because I think before I ever went to tournaments, I would be like, "What are you doing?" Like people are out there doing boxing. People are in the war. They're shooting people, and then you're playing like Mario and you're shaking. But it happens. I don't know why.
I'm just playing Smashy Bros on like a bloody 50-man tournament, and here I am, like dripping with sweat, like oh my god.
Yeah,
it's just like you're like freaking out, and it's like, what is going on?
It's crazy. I don't know if you've seen the fact where they say like chess players burn through thousands and thousands of calories a day. Like if they go to a chess tournament, they burn through like 5,000 calories or 6,000 calories in a day.
I've not seen that.
That's like a fact that's come out about chess players, and I believe it after playing Smash Bros. Because, like, I'll be in my room sometimes, like, okay, let's play a bit of Elite Smash. And my face would be going, like, red. Like, just on Elite Smash because I'm really sweating it out and, like, grinding. And I'll be getting, like, overheating. So, at a tournament, I feel like, I don't know what it is. It's just, like, the mental game. It comes through and it's a big part of it.
Well, I wonder how many calories I'd be burning in a major then. If it's real, like I could eat like a feast afterwards. How much like I'm nervous, stressed out, and just like freaking out.
Yeah, if you never picked up Smash Bros, you would actually be 100 kilos. You know.
Yeah, literally. Bam and all that is keeping me fighting fit. Yeah. After that weekend, I basically probably ran a marathon, so I just like could have had whatever I wanted.
Yeah, it's actually true.
Yeah.
Have you done anything in particular? Like, how did you improve that? Was it just grinding games?
It's just experience.
Mm-hmm.
By far, experience is the thing for me with mental.
Yeah.
Is it just takes time. The more you're in the situation, the better you get at like adapting and dealing with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like when it's your first time making top 8, like you'll freak out. But then as you make top 8 more, you get more comfortable in it because you're used to it. When you make grand finals for the first time, like you'll probably choke or lose a few of them because it's your first like grand final, so it's like really hard. But then as you get in that situation, you get more comfortable. You know, you have these strategies. One of like the best sayings in Smash is just, it is what it is. Like just radically accepting it. When you just get like killed at like 30 and you lose the game, it's just like whatever. You've just got to like accept it and you move on to the next game, and the next game is a completely fresh one that you just focus on.
Yeah. Inshallah,
so, you know,
as the Muslims say.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got us off track there.
I was gonna say you loved your own joke there.
But it's true. It's true.
Yeah, so it's literally just one of these things where just like experience just conquers all. The more you're in these situations, the more comfortable you get in, the more strategies, you know, you find what works for you, what gets you through these situations, and you start.
I always say that is the real top player privilege, because like in my local scene, it's like it's a close match, but it's obviously for me now. I've been in that situation so many times, getting the grand finals in Western Australia for like I don't know how long now, like 5 years or something. So like you said, I'm extremely used to the situation. But then someone who's like, oh my God, I might be able to beat this top player. And it's intense. And then they freak out and then they lose. But you were just kind of like chilling in comparison.
That's what I'm saying. That's the true top player.
Yeah, that's what I always say.
I'm just like vibing out. I'm like, okay, I don't want to lose this guy, but I want to win.
Yeah.
And then this other guy's like, oh my God, I could win.
Yeah, and as soon as that happens, boom, you've lost the mental game.
This crazy roll read F smash that would have won in the game, but was never going to hit. Yeah. And they've just done like this stupid ass option, and you kill it for him. You kill him for it, or like they SD like last time. They go for like this crazy edge guard and they like screw it up. And it's like, that's like the real top play privilege, is like all these people like freaking out in like these last hit situations.
And I feel like when you start freaking out like that, you're more likely to go for the big hits. Kind of like how you were saying as well, like you like, if this hits, it'll kill, and you kind of go for those moments more.
I want to finish it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually heard that that's actually what adrenaline, like physiologically, does to your brain. Because it's like, if you were getting chased by a tiger, say, your brain floods with adrenaline.
I'm not
Yeah. But it makes decisions for you straight away, because you don't want to be like, let me logically think about this. It's just like, no, you have to do this. You have to do this. And that actually comes across in Smash Bros, where it's like, I can't go off stage, I'll die. And your brain will just make that decision. And then you lose the match because of it. And then you think, why didn't I do that? I had a free edge guard. I don't know if you've ever had those moments, but I have that a lot. Say if I like lose a set, and
Yeah,
as soon as
yeah.
it's done and you're out of the moment, you're like, I should have done that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like when you're in the moment, you know things are happening so fast, you have to make
Yeah.
quick decisions, and sometimes I guess you let the moment get to you where you want to step
Yeah.
up or do something and win. Like, yeah, the adrenaline's rushing, like you're making decisions, but you're making them too quickly, and therefore, you know, you make like a mistake and it costs you. And yeah, you look back and it's like, why would I do that? Like, why would I not just be patient or something? So yeah,
Yeah.
adrenaline does kick in when your heart rate's going a million miles an hour.
Yeah, that's crazy. Is that something that you felt like was intense, but maybe died down on the intensity in Japan and like overseas for you?
Yeah, yeah, especially overseas at the start. You know, that's why the first few tournaments going overseas or to a new country is really difficult because you've got to like settle into like a new environment, new
Yeah.
place,
Okay.
like new people. And when you're not quite settled in yet, you get more nervous, and then those last situations, you know, you freak out more, and you know
Yeah.
you're more likely to make the wrong decision. But once you're more comfortable being where you are, you're more likely to like to relax in that last hit situation, that last hook
Mhm.
situation, be a bit more composed and like actually close out the game.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, what's happened for me in my past international trips. So that's why it's always better to go for like 3 or so weeks, like with multiple tournaments, and not saving your biggest tournament for first. Because if your biggest tournament's first, you're more likely to freak out being in a new environment.
Yeah, that makes
Once you're
sense.
there, once you're there and you got time to settle in, then you know, a few lead up tournaments, then that's when it's like, yeah, really
Yeah,
good
or
to
even at the lower level, if
convert.
you're like, you go to one tournament, you do bad, so you're like, oh man, I'm just gonna go home and I'm gonna practice. I'll come back in like 2 months and I'll be better. Like, if you just kept going,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's not really going to get you anywhere. I think you're better off just sticking out, going to those weekly tournaments, you know, once or twice a week.
yeah,
And if you get a few bad results, like whatever, that's fine because
yeah,
you actually learn how to play in that scenario. If you feel like your skills there, but your mental or nerves or whatever is not. You'll 100% get there with experience and like persistence,
mm,
because that's the biggest key. You look at all of our top players in Australia, you know, we're like 80% of us are like Smash 4 vets, and that's
yeah. That's
because
true actually.
we have this we have the experience, and because we just, you know, stuck at it, whereas, you know, old kids don't quite have that yet. So yeah, experience and persistence, it really beats
It
everything.
shines through. I
Yeah.
wanted to finish it off by just asking, like how does it feel to still be the number one player in Australia? Has the magic like worn off? What is it like just for you to like live your life? You're like, I feel like living a lot of people's dreams. Like you're traveling to Japan, you're playing Smash Bros, you're the best player in your country. Like how does it feel? Is it still exciting or is it a grind? And now it's like for you, there's never a moment where you in Australia where you get the upset and you win. You're only expected to win, and then if you lose, it's bad. Does that ever get to you, or yeah?
Yeah, that gets to me. I'm lucky that I have players like Strix who are able to like test me.
Mm-hmm.
So like Strix is my main training partner. We work together a lot and we practice together a lot.
And
Like we
like in
help each
person
other.
as well.
So yeah, in
Oh, that's
person.
cool.
Like we're practicing in person weekly and stuff. So we know each other well. So, you know, he's able to beat me. I'm able to beat him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so that keeps me, you know, if I'm not on my if I'm not playing well, you know, he's able to take it over me and, you know, really push me.
Yeah.
Um, but like I'm super thankful that I'm able to be number one, especially for this long, because it's given me like absolutely fantastic opportunities. You know, like going international,
Yeah.
and you know I couldn't be more thankful for those kind of opportunities. I still get to keep bragging rights about being number one.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. I do like having that, I must admit. And then, you know, whenever I get the challenge, it sometimes gets a little bit, you know, boring always being at the top. But, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I like the challenge of, you know, how long I can really stay at the top for, you know, winning these majors. It is very thrilling, and whatnot. And I'm happy I'm here because I've worked hard. I feel like I've worked the hardest. I've been experienced. I've grinded. I've given it everything I've got, and
Mm-hmm.
so I'm here because of my hard work. And so that's very rewarding for me that I'm
Yeah.
here because of that.
That's good. So you
Um,
still look. You still. It sounds like you're still like you got the fire in you. You still appreciate all or everything you've done, which is
because of
awesome.
internationally, I've still got the fire in me.
Yeah.
If if COVID hadn't like COVID's interesting because it chucked like a wrench in a lot of things. But
Yeah.
like, I wondered how, things would have gone if COVID didn't happen, and how many more majors I would have
That's
won, or how many
true.
more
That's true.
I would have gone. So I've had to, keep going and stay number one for longer. So I can, get some more major wins. But yeah, it's it's pretty amazing. I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah. So it's like being international has very much motivated me, kept the fire going. That I wonder.
because now there's something more. There's something more.
Exactly. There's something bigger for me to set my eyes to.
Yeah.
So I wonder when I start going international, what will kind of happen then.
Yeah, and not that I want to put
yeah.
more pressure on you that you already have, but it's like it's almost in a way I feel like bigger than just yourself. Like I feel like now that you've got those wins, Strix has those wins. It's like Australia as a whole, is kind of like coming in behind you guys.
Well, that's what motivates me, really, is that I know it's bigger than myself. By me getting these results, I'm motivating, young Australians or other Smash players that, we can compete at the top.
Yeah.
And that's something that motivates me, because even if I, stop playing Smash one day, that at least, these new kids and new gens, they can look up and see, the results Strix and I have done, that like, competing Smash, we can compete at the top internationally. We can beat these players. It is worth it. Something I never had growing up, or like something I never had in Smash 4 to look up to.
Yeah,
at least
same with me, yeah.
At least I can leave a mark for the new, Smash Oz kids, and they can really see it, and then want to pursue it and become the best they can be.
Yeah, no, that's very awesome. I reckon we edit there. That's very motivating. I feel like I want to just punch something.
Let's do this. Come on, John.
No, that's awesome. All right, thank you very much, Jono. And
thank you so much for having me.
I'll put down everything for jdizzle, his Twitter and everything down in the description. So give him a follow. So yeah, thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you so much for having me.